My name is Derik Kline, and I am the CEO and founder of HailTrace. So my interest in weather started when I was a very small kid. I can actually go back to the exact event. A severe thunderstorm developed on top of my house in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. So we were standing outside listening to the thunder, and about 2 miles away, my great-grandma's house was in the core of the storm, and she had golf ball size hail and it blew her tree over. And I remember thinking, wow, that was so powerful, and it was only a few miles away from where we were. Really just grabbed my interest, and really from that moment on,
with the jet stream earlier in
my favorite TV show was either the news or the Weather Channel. The first storm chase that I ever went on was May 3rd, 1999. This wasn't a forecasted storm chase. I actually didn't know how to forecast yet. I was 16 years old. And when I got home, I turned on the TV and they had video of a tornado that had just touched down just north of Elgin, Oklahoma. And I was like, oh, this is my chance. I've got my driver's license now. I can go chase this storm. So we jumped in my Chevy Cavalier and we started driving to go chase this storm. And again, we've never chased a storm at all. I didn't know how to forecast. I didn't even know how to chase a storm, honestly. It was just, I thought we'd just drive up and go look at it. We start hearing that it's really big, and now it's a mile-wide tornado. And we're kind of like, uh-oh, we might be a little over our head in this spot. And the interesting thing was this May 3rd ended up being one of the worst tornado outbreaks in Oklahoma history. And as we're coming up from the backside on the May 3rd, the Moore, Oklahoma, the F5, this ended up being the strongest tornado in U.S. history, winds measured at 319 miles per hour. So as we're coming up on the backside of this storm trying to catch it, I look in my rearview mirror and there is another tornado on the ground behind us at the exact same time. And I was like, I hope these tornadoes don't just keep popping down everywhere, because I don't really know what I'm doing. I learned a lot about how to storm chase on that day, how to get yourself in position to be able to view the tornado well. And really one of those first impactful moments in your life where you understand that these tornadoes can be extremely deadly, extremely devastating to people. I also don't hide the idea that it's exciting to me to see a tornado. I think a lot of storm chasers have this guilt over what the storms do. And I think I've come to the realization that my being at the location doesn't stop or start the tornadoes. And it's not my desire to see the tornado destroy something. I am literally there because nature is just something that I love to witness. But to understand everything that has to happen in order for that tornado to occur, it just blows my mind. Now, there's another side of it that I've gained over the last 4 or 5 years, and that's the ability to actually be able to help and protect people. I've had the ability to chase for ABC or KOCO in Oklahoma City.
Let me check back in with Derik Kline. If Derik Kline is available, he is right in the heart of this storm.
Yeah, Damon, so there's a lot going on with this storm.
So this idea that we can now get warnings issued to help assist people to take shelter faster than what they would have and keep them safe is a new level of storm chasing that I've really come to enjoy.
Tornado emergency from Moore. You folks in Moore, you need to grab whatever it is you need to grab.
My name is John Choquette, and I am the lead meteorologist here at HailTrace. It's important for me to understand the weather because I've always had this fascination of figuring out, understanding how and why things do what they do. But with weather, I never really was comfortable with the fact that, sometimes weather just does that. It's like, well, why? There's obviously a reason why behind it, even if we haven't discovered what those reasons are. And I think that's what makes it such a fascinating science.
That challenge is something that's the fun part of it to me, is trying to understand it when there are so many complex things going on. And I don't think we're to a point where we're even close to understanding that yet. And so I think that's why it's fun to research, to learn, to see what's happening in weather on an everyday basis.
Weather is still a pretty new science. I mean, the modern times, we didn't really start to get a grasp on it until satellites became a thing in the 70s. I graduated college in dual pole technology, which is in all the weather radars in the United States, came out nationwide the same year I was graduating college. So we touched on it briefly in one of my classes, like, oh, hey, there's this thing that, you know, it's now out that's pretty new, and it looks like it'll be revolutionary for seeing tornadoes and hail and seeing the melting point for winter storms, all that stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then dual pol ended up becoming so integral to what we do. And just on top of that, like, our satellites have gotten so much better, like the high res ability to see storms from satellites in less than 1 minute intervals. You know, so you can see storms firing even if you're not out chasing. You can see it from hundreds of miles away sitting in an office. It's made storm chasing very easy, I can say.
If I go back to 1999, when I first started storm chasing, the technology that I used, first of all, the internet was very new. There were only a handful of websites that you could go get weather data at. The radar images were not very good. The model data was not very good. And if we were going to get storms, we would just see a blob in like all of western Oklahoma, and we'd have to pinpoint where we needed to be. We would go out to storm chase, and all we had was a paper map, and we had a weather radio, and that was sent via repeater signal. And when a warning was issued, that would tell us what direction the storm was moving and how fast it was moving. Sometimes you would get out to your target location early enough that you would have to go to a library in whatever small town to look at a satellite image to see if any clouds were going up that you couldn't see, because that was the only way that we could get internet. You know, it's kind of funny to think back at how much we didn't trust the technology for a long, long time.
The main reason why FEMA likes our product over all the other tornado products out there is the fact that, I mean, we do map it by hand by meteorologists. This is not an algorithm trying to basically derive an already algorithmic derivation of radar data. We're analyzing the storm in real time. We are able to figure out where the actual, you know, end of the tornado cone is, you know, because the tornado starts out wide and will get smaller as it gets closer to the ground. So as far as I know, we're the only ones out there who can actually get a tornado path that's sub-pixel length. So all the other products are really limited to just the limitations of the technology, which is the size of a radar pixel.
Initially, when I started HailTrace, it was that we would create maps when larger population cities were impacted. And in mapping all the storms, I also knew the best opportunity to create a need more consistently was to track roofing companies' customers and let them know when those customers were impacted. Since then, we've added the ability to track wind, tornadoes. We've built in a canvassing tool. We built in a sales tool that tracks data around who in the populace were impacted by storms. So we'll give you the name, we'll give you the phone numbers, email addresses, lists.
So when we started mapping tornadoes, it was interesting because it definitely felt different than what we've been doing for hail. I mean, obviously hail is very impactful and can be very damaging, but it doesn't change people's lives like a really intense tornado does. The worst hailstorm, the worst thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna get a couple holes in your roof. Worst things that happen with your tornado is you might lose your life and lose everything you've ever known. So
May 20th, 2013, another tornado outbreak in central Oklahoma. It was an extremely busy day at HailTrace. Near Newcastle, there was a boundary in place that intersected a dry line across the south side of Oklahoma City. And we knew that that boundary would enhance the shear in an atmosphere that was extremely unstable. The instability that day, you could just feel it. It just had this soupy, nasty, ugly feeling outside. And so that enhanced shear we knew was gonna be troublesome for Oklahoma City. I don't like to send people into fear, right? And so I remember that morning getting a phone call from my sister. She had 2 boys, Bobby and Damien, and they were in elementary school at the time. And she called me that morning and she's like, Derik, it feels really nasty outside. Are there gonna be tornadoes and more? But, you know, to say more Oklahoma is gonna get a tornado today is, you know, it's a foolish forecast to make. And so she said, okay, so she went ahead and went into work. Her boys went to school that morning. Tornado watch is issued, severe thunderstorm warning is issued very quickly to the southwest of Oklahoma City, right where that boundary intersection was. That storm very quickly went to make a tornado, like instantly, you know, within 15-20 minutes of going up, we had a tornado on the ground with that particular storm. Get a call from my sister, who's on the north side of Oklahoma City. Should I go get the boys? And I said, at the end of the day, they're in a school, which is much safer than your house would ever be. You know, it would have to be an EF5 type tornado to do significant damage to that school.
Do not go to the more public schools to pick up your children. They are being held in school.
I asked her where the school location was, pinned it on my radar, and I'm watching the tornado as it comes across. And then I watched the school go dead center of the tornado. And the school was Plaza Towers Elementary School in Moore, Oklahoma. And Bobby and Damien were in that school when this EF5 tornado moved right over the top of and dead center, including my sister's house. I had to tell her, I'm pretty sure the school took a direct hit.
My name is Bobby Britton. I was 13 years old. I attended Plaza Towers. When we took shelter, originally we were in the hallway. We could hear the hail hitting the skylights. It kind of turned into, as the tornado was getting closer and closer, we had a teacher, his name was Mr. Ayers, went outside and looked out the door, and he saw the tornado, and I think he realized that the hallways weren't gonna work. So that's when we all proceeded. He told everybody to get in the bathroom. In the next couple minutes, that's when it hit. We didn't really know what was going on until it hit. I mean, we were all pretty much panicking, screaming. I did hear the roof rip off. That just sounded like crumbling metal. And next thing you know, we're looking up and you can just see debris flying through the air.
A lot of big chunks of debris in the air. Those are home.
Look at it, there it
It's going through home.
That's another school, Linda.
Oh my goodness.
And that one looks like, I don't know what to say. That one looks harder. It looks harder hit than any of them before.
So at the time of the tornado, I was 13 years old. My name is Antonio Garcia. I was in 6th grade and I went to Plaza Towers Elementary School.
Oh my goodness.
As a parent, this is kind of hard to report on.
So what happened was I remember feeling an immense amount of pressure, kind of like the world was just falling on me. I remember everyone was screaming. I was screaming out loud, and I've never done that in my life. I still haven't done that since that day. I was screaming, praying. I was just terrified.
This thing is on the ground, grinding, ripping everything up.
I remember there was a skylight right before the roof ripped off, and that fell on me and hit my knee.
It is absolute chaos down here. I've never seen anything like this in my 18 years covering tornadoes here in Oklahoma City. This is, without question, the most horrific.
Every single classroom I could see was completely gone. You could see the foundation. There was nothing in those classrooms. It was all swept away.
And so there were some fatalities in that school, unfortunately.
And through the entire hallway, there was nothing but cars and trees, and I'm talking about roofs and animals, and everything you can think of was in that hallway where we were going to be at. So if it wasn't for that one teacher, we would not be here today. I wouldn't be here today.
This is the front of Plaza Towers Elementary School. You can see, again, we've said it before from the air, this school is basically gone. It's totally destroyed.
I'm not an emotional type, but it was very emotional for me.
You know, it's an event that will forever change the way that I look at tornadoes, because now a tornado has impacted someone that I love. Here at HailTrace now today, tracking these storms really lets me understand the impact that it has on many people's lives and just how important it is for us to help first responders to be able to get there as quick as possible.
So now just looking ahead, I'm hoping 5 years from now we have new iterations of our tornado product. We're able to break down our confidence level of a tornado, our confidence level of the strength of the tornado, because right now it's pretty basic. It just kind of shows tornado here. Get more details in there, I think, would be a huge help. I think our warning time is going to get faster, and our predictive ability is going to just continuously improve as you learn more about weather.
After the Kentucky tornado outbreak in December of 2021, we were told by FEMA that we cut the response time in certain areas by up to 2 weeks. And for that, I have to thank our team of meteorologists for all the hard work, time, and dedication they put into making this tornado product become what it is today.
Working for a weather company is probably the weirdest thing I could have ever envisioned myself doing. I never thought that I would be doing this. This storm attacked me, and now we're kind of attacking the storm here, so it just feels good. So
that's why I'm so proud of the work that we do here at HailTrace. Never in a million years did I think that the work that we do with tornadoes would directly feed into FEMA's database and help them respond to disasters so quickly. I'm looking forward to cutting down FEMA's response time even more in the future so we can continue to try and help even more people.
Tornado emergency for Moore. You folks in Moore, you need to grab whatever it is you need to grab and you need to go underground. It is a mile-wide debris cloud. It is a mile-wide wedge, violent tornado. The only way you're going to guarantee you will survive is if you are out of the way, below ground, storm cellar, or basement.